Welcome to the For the Church podcast, another great gospel-centered resource from Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. My name is Jared Wilson. I'm an associate professor of pastoral ministry and author in residence at Midwestern Seminary. And I'm here as always with my friend and my colleague and my co-host, Dr. Ronni Kurtz, assistant professor of systematic theology. Have you seen Disclosure Day?
I have.
Oh, okay.
I have. Yeah.
I want to save it for a future Film Club episode, but initial thoughts. I thought this would be the only way to get you to talk about UFOs. because the last time we tried to do a UFO episode, you were like, failed. I have nothing.
Yeah.
But now you've seen a whole movie.
I've seen a whole in Kansas City. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It takes place in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts on Disclosure Day?
Okay. It may be a hot take.
Okay.
I was wildly disappointed.
Really? Wildly?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was flawed. I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was disappointed by the CGI.
I couldn't believe it.
It
was hard for me not to chuckle.
It just kind of takes you out of what's happening. You know it's not there.
Yeah.
And what makes that worse is it's not just like, oh, these are, effects throughout the movie or something. Right. These are like key climactic moments, including the climactic moment. We won't spoil it, but the climactic moment, and it's like, oh, that thing's not, you know what I mean? It's like it's a cartoon.
Yeah. Yes, it was so on the nose, cartoonish.
Yeah.
That I was like, it was legitimately hard for me not to chuckle in the theater.
Do you think it would have landed better? Well, I guess, okay. Yeah. Spoilers for Disclosure Day. There's an alien at the end.
Oh, wow. Okay, well.
That's not you could probably expect that. But the major thing at the end is, not only do we have all this footage, we've got an actual alien, and we're bringing it out on the newscast, which is literally what they do. I'm not even joking.
See, it makes you want to chuckle. See?
Well, I didn't think it was funny, the idea of it. I thought it was funny that like they're wheeling out this computer-generated alien, and I thought, what if it was like an E.T.? Yeah. E.T. was an 82, a puppet. Imagine what they could do in 2026 with an animatronic or something. Yeah. So would you think that would land better, or would you still think it was silly?
No, I think it would have landed better. I do think there was some visual. I think there's
something
other
taking
flaws.
Up space, with some texture on it.
That's right. Yeah. I think there are other flaws beyond just the silliness of the CGI, but it would have landed somewhat better. There was a visual component that was like
the spiritual content is something that I'm glad you've seen it, because maybe we'll save it for a future episode because that was a major sort of concern, or I don't know, concern. Some people were irritated about what they thought it was going to claim about Christianity. Mm-hmm. I found that stuff kind of underplayed.
I've officially talked about aliens more on this podcast.
I know.
than I did the alien.
Well, I'm not even asking you what you think about them or your theological view, but did you feel like, I don't know, I think even Spielberg himself, I didn't watch the interview, but didn't he say something like it will, shake your views or your beliefs or something like that?
Really?
Or
if he did, that feels silly.
It was reported that he said that, and but the movie doesn't really even try to do that.
No.
They deal with that tension, but they kind of wave it away. They even have like a nun character saying, "Oh, God made a big universe. He can make all kind. Who's to say he couldn't make?" I forgot what the exact line is, but they allow for this.
Yeah, they allow for spirituality.
For both, that you can be a theist,
that was one of the
Christian,
things that I felt the movie struggled with. Is like it wanted.
Not that we need their permission.
That's right. Yeah, but it wanted to be deep, but it just felt like like a freshman philosophy student, where it was like, okay, I see that you want to be deep.
Yeah,
and I do not think you are.
I thought maybe some of the stuff with the devices, it got a little too. I know it's a sci-fi thing, but it just felt a little too Star Trek-y for me.
Yeah,
I wanted it more either philosophical or organic or something like that in a way. Have you ever seen Contact? Contact is really good.
Okay.
And deals with this stuff in a way that's less visual, but still really compelling. And you're dealing with like, oh, what if there are intelligent life out there and they are trying to contact us? And then they do. And then they show us how to build a ship to get to them. And it kind of plays with this idea of whether it's actually extraterrestrial or interdimensional, but they don't spell it all out. They don't throw an alien on. I don't think they do. They don't put like a alien on the screen. They don't. It's very philosophical, and there's the whole religious angle as well. Matthew McConaughey plays, I think, a priest or a pastor, and there's that whole thing of like, if this is real, what does that mean for? It deals with it, I think, and it's based on a Carl Sagan book, who I don't think is I think he's an atheist. But it just deals with some of the tensions, I think, in a more thoughtful way. But anyway, that's not the subject of today's Film Club.
2 episodes.
You're going to get 2 in 1, I suppose. I thought you were going to say I didn't see it because I don't believe in UFOs or UFOs don't do anything for me.
I believe in movies.
I don't want to talk about UFOs. Yeah, that's good. And speaking of belief and movies, let's talk about the 2012 musical adaptation or film adaptation
of the
musical adaptation of Les Miserables, which is a Victor Hugo novel from 1862. I think it was really published. And we've both read the novel. You've probably read it a lot more recently than I have.
I read it in the last 5 years.
So I read it in the last 50 years. I read Les Miserables in junior high.
That is so early.
It was on a list of books I was in. I was in a gifted class. For
okay, all right.
I
don't call you Gifted Jared for no
talented
reason.
student. And it was on this list of like, it was like a project. And so you read one of these 10 books, and I like, because I didn't know what it meant, and Steve was French.
I'll choose the miserable ones.
I'll pick that book because it seems like it's the most confusing. And what I remember most about it was Jean Valjean in the sewers. It felt like he was in the sewers.
I think it's 42 pages.
For my junior high brain, he was in those sewers the whole time.
He was in the sewers the entirety of your junior high.
That's what I basically remember from that reading was how long he was in the sewers.
That's right.
So 42 pages does not.
It's something like that.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
In the musical, or at least in the 2012 musical, he's not in the sewers that long.
No. He's in a muddy sewer. That's
what I realized? So we both rewatched this last night. I wanted to have it fresh, and I guess you did too. And this is the first time I've noticed it. Actually, it is a long movie because it's a long musical. It moves. The scenes are quicker than I remember them.
They're fast.
So even like from the beginning to by the time you get to Jean Valjean adopting Cosette, I was like, oh man, this is like moved a lot. I thought it was almost like an hour and a half until then or something like that. So it's a lot more faster. It's faster paced than I thought.
Yeah, I do love that we're doing a movie from 2012. It just reinforces our cold take.
Well, I don't think so. This movie does not have a good reputation among like film critics.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So even some of my favorite film critics, like they don't like it. They don't like the director, Tom Hooper, and I don't know that I've seen. I did not look at his filmography. The only other movie I know that he has made, and I have zero interest in, is Cats. So the adaptation, the film adaptation of the musical Cats, which is a universally hated movie. And
like almost
I'm
so
sure
hated it's
I'm
becoming
sure
loved.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But he's probably done some other musicals that I'm just not aware of, so I don't know. But yeah, people don't like this.
Really? Okay. Because I have some problems with the movie.
Okay. Well,
but I felt like I was the minority.
Christians, I think, have never seen it. Most people I know, have never seen it. Maybe they've seen or heard some of the songs from the musical.
Of course.
If you're a Seinfeld fan, there's a episode where Master of the House gets stuck in George's head.
Oh, nice.
And so he's just the whole episode he's walking around going, Master of the House, singing the song like some kind of earworm.
Yeah.
So it's entered the cultural lexicon.
Yeah.
The musical has, but this film adaptation does not have a good reputation. And let's talk about maybe we should recap the plot.
Yeah.
Because
Go for it.
So the plot is there's this man named Jean Valjean who in the beginning is a prisoner, almost like a slave, but he's a prisoner. He's in France, and the backdrop is the French Revolution. It's played by Hugh Jackman in the movie. He's a prisoner. He's been convicted and condemned for stealing a loaf of bread, which he had stolen actually to feed his sister's son, his nephew.
Right. Yeah.
And so, it's the kind of cliched, steal. He's a thief, but it was to feed the starving, save somebody's life. And he tried to run away too, I think. So he had years added to his sentence. So it opens with him, and it's his last day after I think 20 years, 19 years, something like that. And he is overseen by the military lieutenant or the military police. Javert, Inspector Javert, who is played by Russell Crowe, and they have this sort of, especially Javert has it out for Jean Valjean. He just thinks he's the worst criminal, the worst of the worst. Jean Valjean is, the convict with the heart of gold, basically. Gets paroled, can't find work anywhere, ends up in a monastery and steals the silver, gets caught, gets brought back to reckon for his crimes, and the priest says, no, this man's telling the truth. I gave him the silver. He didn't steal it. In fact, he forgot these candlesticks and brings the candlesticks over. You forgot the best things. And Jean Valjean is just so overcome. Like, why would I stole from you? Like, why would you do this? And so the police leave him there. And the priest basically says, I'm buying your soul with this. You can have this, but with it, I'm buying your soul for God. And I forget the exact words in the song, but it's basically like, not earn this, but now live like your soul's been bought for God. And he does. He was always had a heart of gold, but he decides he has to change his identity because he can't get a job anywhere because of his conviction. And he becomes a good, upstanding, and very rich man. He's the mayor of a town. And there's a whole lot of other plot things, but this is the basic through line. He adopts a girl who falls in love with a French revolutionary, and he's like a dad to her, but he's also like a dad to her paramour, to the young man. And for the sake of love, he protects this young man when he gets injured and in the revolution. And I mean, anyway, that's kind of the through line. Javert is trying to track down Jean Valjean. So that's the major tension through the whole thing, is the inspector who discovers that, oh, he's still out there and he's been pretending to be this rich mayor. And so now Jean Valjean and Cosette, his adopted daughter, are on the run. That's the basic plot.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's all kinds of little
of course
things in there.
It's a 1,400-page book, so there's always going to be things.
It's hard for me to even express. I was telling you before we started recording, I was rewatching it last night and was moved in all the same places, tearing up. Even some of the places that I've heard people give the most criticism for, and I know you have some critiques, which we'll give you the floor in just a second. But there's places where, like, so the Anne Hathaway solo for I Dreamed a Dream.
Yeah.
So people say, like, oh, it's so awful. Man, I tear up every single time I watch that scene. And it's not because sometimes they're critiquing the singing voices.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah. But to me, it almost makes it feel more real.
Yes,
it feels like a real person singing this song. And I don't think their voices are terrible. Not even Russell Crowe. But I don't even think their voices are terrible. But they're not like polished opera singers or whatever. Right. The one exception, I think, and I forget her name, but the actress who plays Eponine.
Yes, yeah.
She was in the Broadway cast. So she's,
and the lead revolutionary.
Right. So,
he's got a good voice too.
Him as well.
Yeah.
So I knew at least she had the Broadway cred. The others they're just really good actors. And in that scene, man, Hathaway's just like acting her face off.
Yeah.
And when someone is sobbing, and she's really sobbing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so affecting to me. And I was just moved. And at the end of the movie, when you have the big crescendo and the whole ensemble, including those who have passed into the other side, are all joining in and singing. And Becky was coming into bed while I was finishing up, and I was like, everything's fine. I was like, what?
It's like my eyes were sweating.
She was like, really? Again? She goes, haven't you seen this? Like, it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it.
Yeah.
It impacts me so much.
I legitimately think this is, I would, maybe I'll come back after I say this and be like, maybe that was exaggeratory. But I legitimately think that Anne Hathaway scene, the I Dreamed a Dream bit, that 5 minutes or 6 minutes, is both like one of the hardest scenes of any movie for me to watch, and some of the best acting I've ever seen.
Oh man! And on a big screen, did you see it in the theater? Like, we saw it when it came out, and it's just, and I've, it's a close up on her face.
Yes, like the whole time. Yeah.
And she is singing this really powerful song, but she's also she wants to die. I mean, and she's dreaming. There are two songs in the movie that I think they're about the new heaven. I mean, it's about the new creation, longing for heaven. Castle in the Sky and I Dreamed a Dream. Both, and well, in some ways, even Empty Chairs and Empty Tables is about sort of like, missing those people who have departed.
That's right.
But there's just the way she's acting in the scene. It feels like someone whose insides are out.
Yes.
So I'm not expecting every single note to be like. You know,
it was amazing.
It's an incredible scene.
Yes, I think it's the highlight of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
there
to.
Are numerous for me.
I have to skip through.
I get goosebumps like every 20 minutes in this.
Yes,
movie. Yeah.
I have to skip through some of that scene because it's like so hard for me to watch.
Okay.
But when she sings that I Dreamed a Dream bit is. It's phenomenal. Like I think it's legitimately some of the best acting I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, it is
so
incredible acting.
I have
yeah.
critiques of the movie, but that is not.
I
want to
hear your critiques.
Okay, so let me start off by giving the caveat. I'm obviously a book guy,
and we're gonna get to the spiritual stuff in a moment.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm obviously a book guy, more than a movie guy.
Okay.
But I don't want to be that guy, like that book guy that's like, okay, you never like a movie if there's a book to it. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who can read the book and appreciate parts of the movie.
So you didn't want 42 minutes in the sewer?
Yeah, I did not want that. No. No, actually, I think that's a strength. There's the Waterloo. He's like famous for two scenes in the book. The sewer scene and the Waterloo scene are like jokingly long. And I'm thankful the movie takes those out. You know? Yeah. I also think there's a difference in the movie that's better than the book, which is Marius's character. He's kind of hateable in the book. Okay. You kind of leave the book going like, this guy is ridiculous.
Why would anyone be in love with him?
Yes. Yeah. In the movie, he's much more lovable.
Man, yeah.
Much more lovable. So anyways, critiques. So that being said, there are some differences between the book and the movie that are like, oh man, that is like, in my mind, a massive miss.
Okay.
So, for example, the bishop, Monsignor Bienvenu is what he's called a lot in the book, but he is a massive character in the book. And a major reason Jean Valjean has, the worldview, the sturdiness of heart that he does throughout the book, and not the movie, and he gets two very passing scenes in the movie. But his, you actually kind of get a lot of his theology even in the book.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. There's even this scene, the scene that stuck in my head the most from the book, which is wild because it's kind of a passing scene, is he's gardening. And he has this line in the book where he says something like, he's talking about flowers and just beauty of the flowers and beauty of gardening. And he says, beautiful things are often more useful, or he said, beautiful things are just as useful things. And then he says, perhaps more so. And so his love of truth, goodness, and beauty in the book is really strong, and it shapes Jean Valjean so that you don't really get the okay, yeah, he gave him grace with this theft, but it's more than that in the book. He gives him grace and then kind of trains him up.
Disciples him.
Yeah, he disciples him. Yeah. And you don't really get that character reformation in the movie. That's really based off of the bishop.
Yeah, I think in the movie they're kind of. Yeah, that's a turning point. When the priest, buys his soul or commits him to God, but it's also kind of playing on the idea that Jean Valjean is just a virtuous man.
That's right. Yes,
he's just a really good man and an honest man, and who's been forced into some of these things by society.
That's exactly right.
He's got to overcome. And one reason I really like the movie actually is it's rare to find a movie where there's really virtuous characters.
Yes, consistently virtuous. Yeah.
Whatever you think about people are, we're all sinners, all have sinned, etc. I totally affirm that. But it's just hard to find a movie from Hollywood that has an unironic or uncorny, right? Non-corny character. And multiple characters. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just so many just good people.
That's right.
And it plays up the goodness of their goodness in this movie.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. So that was my first. There's kind of three that I feel like the book kind of misses. The second one is, this is probably my biggest. I don't know if it's my biggest. The thing that I'm most annoyed with the movie is the Thénardiers. They are in the book, so that's Sacha Conan Baron.
I think they're the weakest part of the film too.
In the book, they're like evil geniuses.
Oh.
And they're dark. Yeah. And they're menacing and they're scary.
Okay.
In the movie, they're just comic relief.
They're like comic bumbling fools, clowns.
And really. They're very
comic relief.
That's exactly right. Movie. Clowns is the right word. But in the book, they're your spine tingles when their name comes up. They're that brilliant and they're conniving. And
how are they? Have you seen the musical?
I've never seen
stage
the musical
play?
No.
I wonder if the stage play does that too.
Yeah,
if the
I don't know.
If the film is faithful to the stage play. If
The
not, if
first
not the
time
book.
I read, so I finished the book, and the night I finished the book, I started the movie. So that's my first time watching the movie.
This particular movie.
This particular movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, I finished the book, and then immediately I was like, I want to watch the movie, and I turned it off the moment they started singing "Master of the House."
So I've seen 3 adaptations, film adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
One is a movie from the 90s. I think it's Liam Neeson. It's not the musical. It's just an adaptation.
Oh, really?
Of
From the book?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't swear. I mean, it's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think I saw it when it came out in 90, whatever. But I remember really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the musical. And then I saw a BBC
How was that? I've never seen that.
miniseries.
Yeah.
It's very good, and it's not
Okay.
it's not a musical either.
Okay.
It's just a mini series that follows the book. And again, I couldn't tell you because it's been since junior high since I
Yeah.
read the book how close it was.
I'll have to watch that
And
next.
that was really good as well.
Okay.
I just think the story
The story's
is
amazing.
such a great enduring
That's right.
Christian story.
Yeah.
That it's hard to mess it up. And for whatever reason, whoever did this musical,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're believers. I mean, they're probably not. Someone's thinking, no, it's Sondheim or whatever. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
They somehow, even with the songs, capture the Christian theme of the thing.
Yeah, that's right.
So, thoughts on Russell Crowe's singing voice?
Let me do one more critique, and then I'll come back to
and then the big one.
One
Okay.
more critique is the notion of fatherhood. I think my biggest problem as a reader to the movie was the reader is the movie is borrowing on credit that it doesn't earn. So you're supposed to feel this massive bond between Jean Valjean and Cosette, but there's no real bond in the movie. They skip the entire convent section of the book, which is a decade.
Yeah.
And that is a very long, very
They
long.
kind of play on the idea that his bond to her is built on his vow to Fantine.
That's right. Yeah.
And Fantine is Cosette's mother,
Mm-hmm.
who worked for Jean Valjean as a factory worker, and she's cast out.
Mm-hmm.
Fantine is the Anne Hathaway character. She's cast out by a foreman for whatever reason. I don't remember. That they don't like her. They think she's bad company or something.
Yeah.
And she can't get work, and she ends up a prostitute. She ends up selling her hair. She ends up all these things, just degraded and demoralized. And she gets sick and she's dying. And Jean Valjean comes across her and realizes that she worked for him, and so in some ways he's responsible for her state, and decides he's going to try to bring her back to health, but she's dying. And she says, I have a daughter, and she's going to die. The only reason I'm doing these horrible things is because I need to send money to for her to survive. And so she makes Jean Valjean vow, or he vows to her that he will look after her daughter.
That's right.
So that's how the film sets up his commitment to Cosette.
Yeah.
Is he made a
and
vow
that is
to her
all
dying
real.
mother.
That is all real in the book. But they have a decade
Yeah.
where they are in this convent, and it's kind of like you see Jean Valjean's willingness to sacrifice himself for Cosette specifically, because in this convent he becomes kind of like a caretaker of the grounds, and he is safe from Javert in the convent. He won't find him there. And for the sake of Cosette's upbringing, he decides that he wants her to have a normal life, not become a nun. And so he moves out of the convent knowing this is going to make me back in
I'm vulnerable now.
I'm vulnerable now.
Yeah.
But it's like this massive sacrifice in the book. But you get 10 years of them becoming not only father-daughter, but best friends. And so the father connection in the book is infinitely stronger.
Gotcha.
And it's way more moving, his love for
I
Cosette.
think this is generally true of any film adaptation.
Of course. Especially when it's 1,400 books, or 1,400 pages.
The book is more expansive, gives more background. There's
That's
things.
right.
Yeah.
So those are my biggest critiques.
Okay.
There are good things. I do think Russell Crowe's voice is distracting.
Okay.
I think it's bad enough to be distracting.
Okay. I don't find it that bad.
Yeah.
And here's my take on Russell Crowe's voice. I don't think the filmmakers intended this at all. I think they thought he was passable. He is a musician. He has a band that he tours with. So, I mean, it's not like American Idol funny audition bad.
Yeah.
It's just a little off. And I'll admit it's off. And it sounds different than everybody else. That, to me, I think is key.
Yeah.
Because the thing we haven't said so far, which I think is the major theme of this film, of this musical, is law and grace.
Oh, that's the thing.
The movie is explicitly actually about law and grace.
Yeah.
and Javert represents the law, and he is a legalist. He is bound by duty. He almost doesn't have any even delight. You would say his delight is his duty, but he has no delight. He's after Jean Valjean. He does not care at all about any virtue, any way of repentance, any way of restoration. He has this quest that his reason in life is to prosecute and so what happens is Jean Valjean twice that I can think of basically saves his life or spares him or forgives him. Javert has no concept of that at all. It discombobulates him. The first time where he admits, like I falsely reported you, I wrongly reported you. And of course he didn't. He rightly reported him, but he thinks, oh, I'm now mistaken because they've caught the real Jean Valjean. So when I reported you, Mayor Lemaire, I was wrong. Please forgive me. And or no, he doesn't say please forgive me. He's like report me. Convict me.
Yeah.
And Jean Valjean was like, that's a minor sin. I forgive you, whatever. And Javert just has no category for that. And then later when he spares his life, Javert infiltrates the revolutionaries. He's exposed. He's caught, attacked, imprisoned, and Jean Valjean has the opportunity to finally get rid of this guy who's been chasing him for years and years, and will continue to do it if he lets him live. He lets him live, and it so upends the internal combustion engine of Javert. Eventually, he commits suicide because he just can't make sense of this. But there's stuff in the songs about how important law is and duty is. So he's a legalist, and I think, unintentionally, I'm sure, the reason he sounds off is because legalism is discordant with grace. It works for me on that level. I know I've imposed that on the film.
Yeah, you're imposing it, but it's good.
But it works for me that he sounds a little off. And I don't think he's terrible. For you, it's distracting. For me, it's intention. I want to see it as intentionally off. I think he has an okay voice. It's not great, but it works for me that it's slightly like,
Yeah, like,
there's just
should
a little.
he be singing?
Well, I don't know if I think that because he's not off tune. How would you describe it? I'm not a musician.
I think distracting is the right word for me.
Okay, distracting. But the tune is right. Maybe the key is wrong or something. There's something. It's a little higher, and it's different than you'd expect to come out of Russell Crowe's. It's
odd.
There's a different pitch to it, but to me it works. In fact, almost I'd say 98% of the film works for me, and works for me on such a level.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many. As I was, rewatching last night, I was like, oh, in this scene, and
yeah.
I mean, when Marius is singing to Cosette and Eponine's in the background singing to Marius, and I just was like, she's so good. Why can't she have a guy?
Yeah. Her character's wildly different in the book too.
The love triangle. Which in any other movie would be like Eponine is this harridan, a fatal attraction, and she's so good and so virtuous, and
sacrifices
you feel
herself.
so much for her, and she sacrifices for Marius, even though he loves Cosette, and she loves him, and it's unrequited, and you're just
tearing up right now, or
I am. Your heart breaks for her. As you just like somebody take care of her.
That's right.
And Gavroche, I mean,
his character's amazing.
This is a little boy who's like sort of glommed on as the mascot of the revolutionaries, but he sacrifices himself, and there's just so much in the movie.
That is actually something I appreciate,
and riveting and wonderful
about the movie, even against the book.
Okay,
is I would say there is law versus grace in the book. That is definitely a theme. The whole Javert, Jean Valjean, that's there. There is also, as strong in the book, is social problems.
Oh, yeah.
As strong in the book. Like, how do these poor people even get this poor? Like, the revolutionary side of the book is as strong. And so as a Christian...
Look down,
that's right. That's
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
right. As a Christian, I appreciate the question of the movie, not necessarily the book, but the question of the movie is, what will you do with grace? For Javert, it's, I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
Because I can't envision a world where justice is less important is less important than mercy or redemption.
Yeah.
And so what he will do with grace is I cannot handle it and I'll take my own life. And for Jean Valjean, the question of what will you do with grace, he has that whole existential crisis song of like, who am I?
Yeah.
Right? In the cathedral after the bishop saves him. Such a good scene. Probably his highlight of the movie in terms of acting. That whole like, what will I do with grace? Who am I? And he takes it and becomes a great man. I love that about the movie. And I think it actually carries me from like, I can overlook what it gets wrong about the book because it takes that and does it very well.
Yeah.
So, and I also think it captures the emotion. The emotion of the book is, it is a really, really hard book to read. And there are songs in the movie that are just hard to listen to. Empty chairs and empty tables is like legitimately hard to listen to because of how sad it is. Like how heavy it is.
Yes.
I love it. That
and the
scene
way
is
Eddie
amazing.
Redmayne sings it too. The acting is just so good.
It's so good.
They're singing
like
while
almost
they're crying.
a whimper and
Yes, and sometimes it's like some of the songs are like whispered.
Yes.
Even one of the renditions of "Who Am I?"
Yep.
You know, I'm John. I mean, it's just anyway.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, what
so
will
if
you
you've
do
read
with
the
grace
book, and I'm gonna guess most of the people listening to this have not read the book.
Oh, come on, do it. Read the book.
I don't think
Read
it's
the
a
book.
widely read book.
Yeah.
So I hope that it not measuring up to the book for you isn't a mark against it for people listening. You should watch this movie.
No, I totally agree.
It's PG-13. There's some violence in it. There's some suggestive things, especially when Fantine is a prostitute, but there's no nudity.
There's one scene
no
that's like
scene, is there?
There is with in the movie with Santa Claus.
With Santa Claus?
Yeah, during the Master of the House song. I
didn't even notice that.
It's like, I probably should give a warning against that. The Master of the House
song. So look up the content. It is PG-13, however.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not rated R or anything, but it's PG-13, and it's just a wonderful movie.
Yeah,
I think.
Which one last thing that deserves to be said is I do think when people watch the movie or read the book, they come away with like, oh man, this is a great Christian story. And I will say the book is even more overtly Christian.
Okay.
Jean Valjean, at the end of his life, those scenes, he gets like real theological. And he's praying all the time, very much like Monsignor Bienvenu. But Victor Hugo is not your picture Christian man. In fact, he wasn't a Christian.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story because it's one of the best Christian-esque stories written by someone who we would probably say is a bad person.
Gotcha.
And so Victor was very much against a lot of the things we would believe in and had himself kind of a rough life.
Didn't know that.
And even put in his will, do not put crosses or anything. Do not let anyone speak religiously at my funeral. He had one of the highest attended funerals of all time in France. But he himself was kind of a bad person.
Okay.
And so
it's a good thing this is an FTC book club.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. No, it's just interesting because that was the thing that was like troubling me. Is like this is an amazing story
Hugo
of
also
grace.
famously wrote Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's
what
right.
else?
He has a very famous collection of poems.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was like almost bothering me. Like, how is like if Dostoevsky writes that book, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. This dude knows grace.
Yeah.
But Hugo doesn't. And
very interesting.
It's very interesting to read it in that light. Yeah.
Well, 2 thumbs up from us. I think I liked it slightly more than you.
1 thumbs up from me. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. A star better than you.
That's right. Yeah.
So check it out. Certainly check your favorite content guide if you have a way to skip that. I didn't even notice that scene. You said Santa Claus. I was like, Santa Claus isn't even in the movie, right? What are we talking about? But something happens in a background scene or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. But anyway, so there's something in the background of a scene. But I think for mature audiences, like check your content guides. It's a very moving film and an exquisite film, I think. If you enjoy the podcast, dear listener, please give us a good review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And wait, I just messed up the outro.
And until next time.
I didn't say wherever you watch.
Oh,
and it threw me
yes.
off
Yeah,
my brain.
yeah.
You didn't say that, and then I messed up the whole thing. Until next time, may Jesus be big in your church.